All right, listen up, Mets fans. There's one name on this free agent market that could make perfect sense for the 2025 New York Mets lineup, and not enough people are talking about him. Get into it. All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the True Mets Talk podcast. It's your boy CP. The MLB winter meetings are rolling on, as is the content on this channel, and we are here to talk about one potential underrated key emphasis on underrated free agent target that I would like the Mets to pursue because this name makes, again, perfect sense for this squad going forward. In a winter meetings that we've seen, Juan Soto signing with the New York Mets, and it still feels surreal. Not even 48 hours since we heard from Jon Heyman that he was going to be joining the Mets on a mega deal. Alonso and the recent rumors that the Mets are going to be interested in him. I talked about that in one of my latest videos as well. I'll link that in the description. The Mets still have more room, and they have another option and flexibility in adding a mid-tier bat. Before we get into this name, please do hit the thumbs up on this video if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel. Please, a lot more content this offseason rolling on as we are barreling our way forward into spring training and inevitably opening day, which I am so very excited for. Did anyone get their pre-ordered Juan Soto jersey? I know I did. Okay, let's get into it. This name is Joc Pederson. Let's get into a little bit of an outlook of Joc Pederson, especially over the past couple of seasons, because he is a name that I have been intrigued in as a potential target for the New York Mets. And for one reason or another, it just has not materialized. Back in 2021, he went to the Braves mid-season and was a part of their insane run to a 2021 World Series title. 2022, he signs a 2-year deal with the San Francisco Giants, and he posts pretty good numbers in 2022, right? 134 games, 274 batting average, 23 home runs, north of an 870 OPS, which is awesome. 2023, he has a down year, as you can tell with the numbers here, only 15 home runs, 764 OPS. Then he signs a 1-year deal with another NL West team in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And these numbers jumped out at me like a sore thumb, but in a good way. 275 batting average, 23 home runs. Again, this guy's a consistent 20-plus home run candidate. I know he had the down 2023 campaign, but again, we know he takes massive swings, right? He's aggressive, which I love, and he can put the ball out of the ballpark at a high clip, anywhere between 20 to 25 home runs, which is, again, one of the reasons why I want him in this lineup if the Mets decide to pursue him. On-base percentage and OPS. Look at the OBP. With a guy of the caliber of Joc Pederson, I just mentioned he takes massive swings at the plate. I don't expect him to post a 393 on-base percentage. That's pretty insane. That's well above league average. But going beyond into that, I took a look at his Savant page, and with any name that we talk about on this podcast, right, whether I have their Savant pages pulled up and on the screen or not, I encourage you all to go take a look for yourselves, because a guy like Joc Pederson, for me, knowing the type of offensive player he is, I would think that his strikeout rate would be a little bit higher than league average. But to my surprise, he is right around league average, and he's been consistently around league average over the past couple of seasons of his career. So that could contribute, again, to a higher OBP naturally. But also, he's kind of a disciplined hitter. Consistently over the past 4 or 5 seasons, he has posted north of league average in terms of his walk rate, which is a great balance when you talk about a semi-productive power hitter, but also has that flexibility of giving you on-base percentage, walks, and just getting on for the rest of the lineup to do their job. Now, we talk about a lineup that now possesses Juan Soto in the middle of the order, potentially bringing back Pete Alonso to sort of supplement the middle of the order, which creates a powerhouse top 5. But how could you make the bottom 4 guys going into above average territory, right? We know Jose Siri is going to be there. We know Francisco Alvarez is going to be there in whatever order Mendoza chooses. Starling Marte could be in that category, and we'll talk about why this is such a perfect fit here in a second as it relates to Marte. But Joc Pederson is such a flexible hitter, and he makes a lot of sense to space out because in a lot of projections, I have Brandon Nimmo batting fifth. You can also slot him back in at the 2 spot, but that is the advantage here, right? The lefties that you would have in this lineup, you could space out. And that was the glaring weakness for the New York Mets lineup in 2024 was a lack of lefty options. Obviously, to begin the season, Jeff McNeil and Brandon Nimmo were the lefty options, 2 of them for Carlos Mendoza. Then it became 3 with Jesse Winker, and then Jeff McNeil's unfortunate injury created a situation where Mendoza went back to only 2 options. And that was, again, a glaring weakness when you take a look at other lineups around the league that have that capability, the Dodgers being one of spacing out left-handed hitters. Now the Mets have addressed that first and foremost with Juan Soto, in addition to Jeff McNeil, presumably if he doesn't go anywhere, and Brandon Nimmo. If you bring in a 4th lefty, you have so many different lineup combinations that it is just a perfect scenario for Carlos Mendoza going into 2025. Before we get into a potential lineup construction projection with Pederson's name in it, I'm not sure what kind of deal Pederson's going to get coming off of such a great season with the Diamondbacks. I'm not even sure if I can rule out the Diamondbacks re-signing him. Again, I think Pederson's market is going to be vast, especially for those teams that might not be in on some of the top bats in the market. Again, he is considered, to me at least, a mid-tier bat on this free agency market. Spotrac has him at 2 years, just under $30 million, right? And I think that Spotrac in general, as I've mentioned, can undersell these contracts for these free agents by quite a bit. So I could see a situation where he signs for 2 years north of this $29.3 million mark. But again, if you're talking about short-term deals, the New York Mets are always going to be interested. Let's take a look right here at this potential 2025 lineup with Joc Pederson hypothetically in it. Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, Vientos, Pederson, Alvarez, McNeil, Siri. Now, I understand that if there is a righty on the mound, you would have 3 lefties in a row to open up your lineup, and that might not be ideal with the first righty coming up being Pete Alonso. So there's an opportunity to shake up that 1 through 5 in a lot of different ways. You could put Juan Soto in the 2 spot and Mark Vientos or Pete Alonso in the 3 spot. Again, I'm not really concerned with that because that will work itself out. I do understand that. But you take a look at Joc Pederson and how he fits into the power aspect of this potential lineup. You're talking about 25 to 30 plus home run potential with Francisco Lindor. Brandon Nimmo can get you 20 plus home runs. He's shown that. Juan Soto is coming off of a season where he posted 41 home runs. Again, I expect that number to go down because he's not playing in Yankee Stadium anymore. But again, 25, 30 plus home run potential. Pete Alonso, if he's brought back, again, big if, we'll see what his market truly is. And by the way, there's a new report saying that the Yankees are not, I guess Pete Alonso is not on the Yankees' radar, which I find hard to believe. But again, that is the latest report surrounding Pete Alonso and his market. That's an easy 35, 40 home runs. Mark Vientos coming off of a season, 25 plus home runs, maybe even 30 plus, right? In a full season sample size. Joc Pederson, I just told you, has 20 plus consistent home run potential. Francisco Alvarez, same thing. I'm expecting Francisco Alvarez to bounce back in a major way. Jose Siri at the bottom of the order, 20 plus home run potential. The only guy that wouldn't eclipse 20 home runs, right, in this given scenario that I'm giving you is just Jeff McNeil. That's just not the type of player that he is. So that, when I talk about maximizing the power of a potential lineup, Joc Pederson is the perfect fit for that. And again, I like everything about this lineup, right? You can reorder it any which way and I would still like it. But why is he the perfect fit in terms of the actual roster construction? Because if you circle back to the beginning of this video, I talked about Starling Marte. You obviously don't see him in this lineup, right? So what happens to Starling Marte? Well, there is a world where the New York Mets, if they brought in Joc Pederson, could implement a platoon DH rotation just as they were trying to do so between Jesse Winker and JD Martinez last season. Joc Pederson mashes right-handed pitching, and vice versa. Starling Marte, if you look at the splits last season, also hits left-handed pitching in contrast very well. And this combination could provide Mendoza a lot more flexibility and a lot more success in a platoon with these two guys than the options that he had last season. And just to back this up, because again, these are only the 2024 metrics, but you take a look at the sample size of 335 at-bats for Joc Pederson against right-handed pitching, 281 batting average, 22 of Joc Pederson's 23 home runs came off of right-handed pitching, a 392 OBP against righties, and north of a 920 OPS. Tremendous production, and vice versa in contrast with Starling Marte against lefties. Marte in 100 at-bats hit 310 with a 384 OBP and north of an 840 OPS. Starling Marte was serviceable against righties, but again, if you take a look at the splits to their core, there is a tremendous drop-off for Starling Marte against righties in comparison to lefties. So let me know, Mets fans, have I convinced you yet of Joc Pederson being the perfect fit? Consistency and power, the ability to platoon with Starling Marte as the DH, a short-term deal, on-base percentage guy as well, disciplined, but also takes massive swings for that home run production to show itself. I think it's a great potential signing, or at least the Mets doing their due diligence in the market of Joc Pederson. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's have a discussion. And as always, if you enjoy the content, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next video, let's go Mets. Again, buckle up, Mets fans. A lot of flexibility, lots of more money to spend. That's the most important thing. Peace.
Thank you for watching the True Mets Talk podcast. Make sure you're tapping on that notifications button and checking out all the latest content on the channel. Thank you.